had a family tragedy. Two of my nephews in '89 were gunned down in the streets of Milwaukee. They were both 24. They were both innocent. They weren't doing anything. It's just that the streets of Milwaukee were so violent at that time that a young African American outside at night was just a target. And we had a lot of young ones at that time that couldn't understand why these young men died like this. And out of that came a bunch of family meetings. It was all a way of kind of working through the grief and talking about Brian and Jeffrey. Out of that came different projects. One of the projects was, actually all the kids wanted to do a show. It snowballed and turned into a theater after one show that we did where the kids all helped make it happen. I borrowed stuff from different theater companies and folks that I knew, you know, sound equipment, some set stuff. One of the older kids came storming in there that next Sunday and said, the name of our group is going to be African American Children's Theater, because I was doing a paper and I couldn't find anything positive about African Americans. And in 1989, all you heard about was drugs and crime and the gangs. And I said, well, you're not going to need a name. I mean, we're cleaning up and putting stuff away and giving things back to people. And one of the other cousins comes in 20 minutes later and she says, I got a gig for us. And it was something that took on a life of its own. I never woke up one day and said I want to work with a bunch of kids. The kids started bringing their friends, and their friends started bringing their friends, and the next thing you know, I've got these kids on a regular basis. So it snowballed into a theater. We wound up using the Milwaukee Enterprise Center for a number of years, till somebody complained that there were just too many kids in the building on Sunday, and so we got kind of kicked out of there. And we've got kicked out of a lot of places since then. At first it hurt me. Now it's like, okay, we'll move. I learned very fast that people will step to the podium and talk about helping our future and helping our children, and we have to do this and we have to do that. And that's all podium talk. But to come here was actually even better, because then you can rely on the support of other folks in the arts and learn a lot from them. I think being a part of a building where it's just for children and just for music and dance and theater is even better. Last year, we started working with the YMCAs. So now we've got 3 projects in 3 different Ys, which is wonderful. We can service more children because it's, to me, extremely important for children to be a part of the arts, because the arts is this huge collaboration of other people and other art forms.
This is really what they call in a Broadway show, a showstopper.
The whole idea of this program too is making the kids connect to what this is about. Some of them haven't even heard about Harriet Tubman, which surprised me a little bit. So not only on the sense that they're performing and learning that side of it, they're also learning a little bit more history that I think is important, and getting them to understand the importance of the story they're telling. It's been something that Dr. Cheatham and I have been very, very adamant about staying on that point as well, that they're kind of putting their stamp on what has been centuries of storytelling about what happened during the slave times, about the Underground Railroad, and they're adding their own voices to it, to that long line of storytelling that's happened since then. That's kind of how we tried to explain it to them.
I've got to straighten that out right now. I'm sorry. Just have a seat right there. Come join us, bottom part. 1, 2, now. Somebody's growling at me. The North Shore Yeah, those words just keep coming. Come join us on the Freedom Train. Come join us on the Freedom Train. The North Star brightly leads the way to a brighter day. That's very important. The North Star brightly leads the way to a brighter day. That comes right out of the dialogue you just spoke.
And then I also realized that some kids need something that's different than just the regular old, schoolwork. And then it kind of dawned on me I was that kind of kid. That's why I was always in the arts in some kind of way. If they had had a children's theater when I was a kid, I'd have been a better student. I'd have been a nicer student. If you were lucky enough to hear about other venues, cool. But there wasn't anything that really wanted to express the African American culture and deal with the African American children that were sometimes difficult students like I was myself. When we take kids and Jason's, oh, that's kid. And then next thing you know, we fill him up with so much art, they're sometimes the nicest ones in the room because they found some place to be. And I guess I found some place to be. We're getting them ready so they can know how to go out and present themselves, know how to speak to people, shake their hand, feel good enough to ask somebody for a job. And we were kind of lacking that in this community. What we want to do is make sure that the children we serve come out of here feeling better about themselves than they did when they came in. Because then they'll go to church and they'll do their little piece or they'll do some music or whatever, and that just builds them up, and that's what we're all about, building them up.